Good morning, students. In the lecture series of transportation engineering, today we are going to discuss about the curves, widening of roads, horizontal alignment. Okay, so in this lecture we are going to discuss about the curves. So, what is the definition of curve? A curve is a geometrical arc provided at the change in alignment or gradient of road. A curve is a geometrical arc provided at the change in alignment or gradient of road. What is the necessity of curve? Curves are necessary whenever there is a change in gradient or alignment of road. Curves enable a small change or smooth change over a alignment or gradient. This is required when it is necessary to provide access to a certain place, to lay the alignment to conform with the topography, to avoid excessive cutting or filling, to protect places of worship, monumental importance, strategic importance, etc., to avoid costly land and properties, to make use of already existing right of way and bridge, to break the monotony of long stretches of straight driving, to keep restriction on undue speeding on straight stretches and keep the driver alert. Okay, in figure you can see the horizontal curves which are shown by the arrows. Okay, then what is mean by horizontal curves? A horizontal curve is provided at a junction of change in alignment in horizontal plane. Okay, horizontal highway curve is a curve in a plan to provide change in direction to the center line of a road. When a vehicle traverses a horizontal curve, the centrifugal force acts horizontally outwards through the center of gravity of the vehicle. That is P is equal to W V square upon GR, where P is the centrifugal force in kg, W is the weight of vehicle in kg, R is the radius of circular curve in meter, V is the speed of vehicle in meter per second, G is the acceleration due to gravity, is equal to 9.8 meter per second. Okay, you can see the diagram where weight and pressure has been shown on a body at a point A and point B. W is the weight at the center point, and the distance between two points, that is B, has been shown, and the force acting on the frictional force and P pressure at height H has been shown in the figure. So P by W is known as the centrifugal ratio or the impact factor. The centrifugal ratio is thus equal to V square upon GR. The centrifugal force acting on a vehicle negotiating a horizontal curve has two effects: tendency to overturn the vehicle outwards about the outer wheels, and tendency to skid the vehicle laterally outwards. Overturning effect. The equilibrium condition for overturning will occur when pH is equal to Wb upon 2, or when P by W is equal to B by 2H. This means that there is a danger of overturning when the centrifugal ratio P by W or V square upon GR attains a value of B by 2H. Traverse skidding effect. P is equal to force A plus force B equal to FRA plus RB, that is equal to FW. Since P is equal to FW, the centrifugal ratio P by W is equal to F. In other words, when the centrifugal ratio attains a value equal to coefficient of lateral friction, there is a danger of lateral skidding. Thus, to avoid overturning and lateral skidding on a horizontal curve, the centrifugal ratio should always be less than B by 2H and also F. F is less than B by 2H. the vehicle would skid and not overturn. B by 2h is lower than the F, the vehicle would overturn on the outer side before skidding. Okay, so this is about the curve. Then what is super elevation? Super elevation. What do you know about super elevation? Okay, in order to counteract the effect of centrifugal force and to reduce the tendency of the vehicle to overturn or skid, the outer edge of the pavement is raised with respect to the inner edge, thus providing a transverse slope throughout the length of horizontal curve. This transverse inclination to the pavement surface is known as super elevation or cant or banking. We are already discussed about that. On a curved roads, the outer edge of the pavement is raised with respect to the inner edge, thus providing a transverse slope throughout the slope of the horizontal curve. For what? To avoid the overturn or skid, to avoid the accidents. We are providing super elevation or cant or banking to the pavement surface. The super elevation E is expressed as the ratio of the height of outer edge with respect to the horizontal width. Here you can see in the figure super elevation force, transverse friction force, super elevation, continued centrifugal force has been shown, and the outer edge is kept raised as compared to the inner edge of the road. That is the super elevation. Okay, it is divided, which is denoted by E. In this figure you can see super elevation, that is outer edge is raised compared to the inner edge, and here we can see the vehicle and the forces acting on it and the friction forces. Okay, and what is the formula has been given for the super elevation is equal to W sin alpha plus F into in bracket W cos alpha plus W V square upon GR sin alpha bracket complete is equal to W V square upon GR cos alpha. Okay. Analysis of super elevation. How can we calculate the super elevation, or how can we decide the super elevation? The force acting on the vehicle while moving on a circular curve of radius r meters at speed of v meter per second r. The centrifugal force P is equal to W v square upon GR acting horizontal towards through the center of gravity. That is CG. The weight W of the vehicle acting vertically downwards through the center of gravity. The frictional force developed between the wheels and the pavement counteractions transversely along the pavement surface towards the center of the curve. So W sin alpha plus F into bracket W cos alpha plus W v square upon GR sin alpha bracket complete is equal to W v square upon GR cos alpha. Or by dividing CO's alpha cos alpha on both sides, we can get tan alpha is plus F is equal to V square upon GR 1 minus F tan alpha. So 1 minus F is equal to 1 minus 0.15 into 0.07, 0.19, that is equal to 1. E plus F is equal to V square upon GR 1 minus Fe, or R is equal to V square upon G into bracket F plus E. So we can get E plus F is equal to V square upon GR, where V is in meter per second and R is in meter, or E plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R, where V is in kilometer per hour and R is in meter. If we calculate, or if we consider V in meter per second, we have the formula E plus F is equal to V square upon GR, and if V is in kilometer per hour, then we have the formula E plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R, where E is equal to rate of super elevation is equal to tan theta, F is equal to design value of lateral friction force coefficient 0.15, V is equal to speed of vehicle in meter per second, R is equal to radius of horizontal curve, that is mg is equal to acceleration due to gravity is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. So what is the maximum super elevation? That means what is the range or up to what value we can provide super elevation. What are the standards for providing super elevation? Okay. In case of heavily loaded bullock carts and trucks carrying less dense materials like straw or cotton, the center of gravity of the load vehicle will be relatively high, and it will not be safe for such vehicles to move on a road with a high rate of superelevation because of the slow speed. The centrifugal force will be negligibly small in case of bullock carts. Hence, to avoid the danger of toppling of such loaded slow motion moving vehicles, it is essential to limit the value of maximum allowable super elevation. IRC had fixed the maximum limit of super elevation in plain and low rolling terrain and its snow abound areas as 7%. On hill roads not bound by snow, maximum super elevation up to 10%. On urban road stretches with frequent intersections, it may be necessary to meet maximum super elevation to 4%. From drainage consideration, it is necessary to have a minimum cross to drain of the surface water. If the calculated super elevation is equal to or less than the camber of the road surface, then the minimum super elevation to provided on horizontal curve may be limited to the camber of the surface. So, how can we design the super elevation? There are steps. First step, the super elevation for 75% of design speed velocity in meter per second or kilometer per hour is calculated neglecting the friction is equal to 0.75 v bracket square divided by 127 r, or E is equal to v square upon 225 r. Okay. So by taking these steps, we have f is equal to v square upon 127 r minus 0.07. If the value of thus calculated is less than 0.15, the super elevation 0.07 is safe for the design speed. If not, calculate the restricted speed as given in step 4. What is the step 4? The allowable speed, that is VA, in meter per second or in kilometer per hour at the curve is calculated by considering the design coefficient of lateral friction and the maximum super elevation. E plus F is equal to 0.07 plus 0.15, that is equal to VA square upon 127 r. If the allowed speed as calculated above is higher than the design speed, then the design is adequate and provides a super elevation of E equal to 0.07, that is 7%. And if the allowable speed is less than the design speed, the speed is limited to the allowable speed VA km per hour and calculated above, and appropriate warning sign and speed limit regulation sign are installed to restrict and regulate the speed. What is the attainment of super elevation? Split up into two parts. Elimination of crown of the cambered section, and second, rotation of pavement to attain full super elevation. In elimination of crown of the cambered section, first method is outer edge rotated about the crown. Attainment of super elevation. Disadvantage, small length of road and cross slope less than camber and drainage problem in outer half. These are the disadvantages in first method. And second method, crown shifted outwards. What are the disadvantages? Large negative super elevation on outer half, and drivers have the tendency to run the vehicle along shifted crown. Rotation of pavement to attain full super elevation. First method is rotation about the CL, depressing the inner edge and raising the outer edge each by half the the total amount of super elevation. What are the advantages? Earthwork is balanced, vertical profile of the CL remains unchanged. Disadvantage, drainage problem, depressing the inner edge below the general level. Okay. What is second method for the attainment of super elevation? Rotation about the inner edge. We can see in the figure, raising both the centers as well as outer edge. Outer edge is raised by the total amount of super elevation. And what is the advantage of this method? No drainage problem. And what is the disadvantage? Additional earth filling is required. CL of the pavement is also raised. Then radius of horizontal curve. Radius of horizontal curve. The ruling minimum radius of the curve for ruling design speed v meter per second or kilometer per hour is given by r is equal to v square upon 127 in bracket e plus f. According to the earlier specification of the IRC, the ruling minimum radius of the horizontal curve was calculated from a speed value 16 km per hour higher than the design speed, that is v plus 16 km per hour. Widening of pavement on horizontal curve. What is meant by widening or road widening? The extra pavement width provided on sharp horizontal curve is called as a widening or widening of carriageway on curve. Okay. When a vehicle travels on a curved path, the steering wheels turn sideways. The rear wheels do not travel on the same path as that of the steering wheels. Okay. So on horizontal curves, especially when they are not of very large radii, it is common to widen the pavement slightly more than the normal width. Widening is needed for the following reasons. First, the driver experiences difficulties in steering around the curve. Second, the vehicle occupies a greater width as a rear wheel don't track the front wheel, known as off tracking. Third, for greater visibility at curve, the driver have tendency not to follow the central path of the lane, but to use the outer side at the beginning of the curve. The next four, while two vehicles cross or overtake at horizontal curve, there is a psychological tendency to maintain a greater clearance between the vehicle for safety. Then what is meaning of off tracking and why it is necessary for the horizontal alignment? First, an automobile has a rigid wheel base and only the front wheels can be turned when this vehicle takes a turn to negotiate a horizontal curve. The rear wheel do not follow the same path as that of the front wheels. This phenomenon is called as off tracking. The required extra widening of the pavement at the horizontal curves depends on the length of the wheelbase of vehicle I, radius of the curve R, and the psychological factors. Then analysis of extra widening on curves. It is divided into two parts. First, mechanical widening, and third, psychological widening. Total widening W is equal to WPS plus WM. What is mechanical widening? The widening required to account for the off tracking due to the rigidity of wheelbase is called as mechanical widening. And what is psychological widening? Extra width of the pavement is also provided for psychological reasons, such as to provide for greater mean availability of steering at high speed, to allow for the extra space for overhangs of vehicles, and to provide greater clearance for crossing and overturning vehicles on curve. So mechanical widening, you can see in the figure what are the different radiuses are there and the curves and the widenings has shown. Okay, Wm is equal to R2 minus R1 from triangle OAB. OA square is equal to OB square minus BA square, that is R1 square is equal to R2 square minus I square. Okay, we can get Wm is equal to I square divided by 2R approximate, or Wm is equal to NL square divided by 2R, where R is equal to mean radius of the curve in meter and N is equal to number of traffic lanes. R is equal to mean radius of the curve in m meter and I is equal to length of wheel, L is equal to length of wheelbase of longest vehicle in meter. L is equal to 6.0 meter or 6.1 meter for commercial vehicles, and V is nothing but design speed in kilometer per hour. Then psychological winding, we get WPS is equal to V upon 9.5 under square root R. That is empirical formula, where V is equal to design speed of the vehicle in kilometer per hour and R is the radius of curve in meter. Total extra winding is equal to mechanical winding plus psychological winding, and we get the total extra winding W is equal to NL square divided by 2R plus V upon 9.5 under square root R. Then what is the method of introducing extra widening? With a transition curve, without transition curve, with a transition curve, without transition curve, on sharp curve of hill roads. These are the methods for introducing the extra winding. Method of introducing extra winding, you can see in the figure what are the radius, space. Okay, this is the figure where we can see extra widening required because some problems will occur while turning or while traveling on the curve paths. Okay, horizontal transition curve, you can see in the figure transition curve, circular curve, and again transition curve, straight curve are there in the figure. When a non-circular curve is introduced between a straight and a circular curve has a varying radius which decreases from infinity at the straight end, that is tangent point, to the desired radius of the circular curve. At the other end, curve point for the gradual introduction of centrifugal force is known as transition curve. Then what are the objectives of providing transition curve? Why we provide the transition curve? First, to enable the driver turn the steering gradually for the own comfort and security, to provide gradual introduction of super elevation, to provide gradual introduction of extra widening, to enhance the aesthetic appearance of the roads, etc. What are the types of transition curve? Spiral or clothoid, cubic parabola, lemniscate are the types of transition curve. IRC recommends spiral as the transition curve because it fulfills the requirement of an ideal transition curve, that is, rate of change of centrifugal acceleration is consistent, and second, radius of the transition curve is infinite at the straight edge and changes to R at the curve point, that is LS alpha 1 divided by R, and calculation and field implementation is very easy. Then what is the length of transition curve? In case 1, rate of change of centrifugal acceleration, length of transition curve LS is equal to 0.0215 V cube divided by CR, or C is equal to 80 divided by 75 plus V, where 0.5 is less than C less than 0.8, that is C is in between 0.5 to 0.8, where LS is equal to length of transition curve in meter, C is equal to allowable rate of change of centrifugal acceleration, that is meter per second square, and R is the radius of the circular curve in meter. And what is the second case? Rate of introduction of super elevation. In this case, if the pavement is rotated about the center line, then we can get LS is equal to En divided by 2 is equal to En divided by 2 into W plus We. And if the pavement is rotated about the inner edge, LS is equal to En is equal to En plus We, where W is the width of pavement, W is the extra widening, rate of change of super elevation of 1 in N. What is the third case? Third case is by empirical formula. According to IRC standards, for plain and rolling terrain, we can get LS is equal to 2.7 V square upon R, and for mountainous and steep terrain, we can get LS is equal to V square upon R. The designed length of transition curve LS will be the highest value for case 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Then what is the shift of the transition curve? Shift of the transition curve S is equal to LS square upon 24R. You can see in the graph that is different radiuses are shown in the circular curve, and the shift of transition curve has been shown by the formula. Okay, setback distance on horizontal curve. Where there are site obstructions like buildings, cut slope or trees on the inner sides of the curves, either the obstruction should be removed or the alignment should be changed in order to provide adequate site distance. If it is not possible to provide adequate site distance or the curves on existing roads, regulatory signs should be installed to control the traffic suitability. Clearance distance or setback distance is the distance required from the center line of horizontal curve to an obstruct on the inner side of the curve to provide adequate site distance. In case 1, if the length of curve LC is greater than site distance S, then we can get m dash is equal to r minus in bracket r minus d cos alpha 1 divided by 2. It is modified by another formula, that is alpha 1 alpha dash divided by 2 is equal to 180 s divided by 2 pi in bracket r minus d, where m dash is equal to setback distance, d is the distance between the center line of the road and the center line of the inner side lane in meter, r is equal to radius of the curve in meter, and alpha is angle subtended by the arc length s at the center. In second case, if the length of curve LC is less than side distance S, then we can get alpha dash divided by 2 is equal to 180 LC divided by 2 pi in bracket r minus d, where LC is the length of curve and S is the side distance. Okay. Then what is curve resistance? The automobiles are steered by turning the front wheels, but the rear wheels do not turn. When a vehicle driven by rear wheels move on a horizontal curve, the direction of rotation of rear and front wheels are different, and so there is some losses in the tractive force. Thus, the loss of tractive force due to turning of vehicle on a horizontal curve, which is termed as curve resistance, will be equal to T minus T cos alpha or T in bracket 1 minus cos alpha, and will depend on turning angle alpha. Okay. So thank you very much. In this lecture we studied about horizontal curve, transition curve, vertical curves, and widening of roads and horizontal alignment. Okay. Thank you.